The Galactic Council chamber had seen wars declared and empires dissolved, but it had never felt fear like this. The delegates gathered beneath the floating sigils of their civilizations, confident as always in their ancient hierarchies. The humans were late, which already irritated several elder species. Tardiness was considered a sign of weakness among the stars. The Council had summoned humanity to explain the rapid expansion of their fleets. Their industrial output had tripled in less than a standard cycle. Shipyards bloomed around human stars like metallic flowers. The data suggested preparation for conflict, yet no declaration had been made. When the human delegation finally arrived, there was no grand display, no armored guards, just a small group dressed simply. They looked calm, almost bored, which unsettled the chamber far more than aggression would have. High Arbiter Kesseth of the Vorn spoke first, his voice resonating through translation fields, demanding justification, accusing humanity of destabilizing galactic balance. Murmurs of agreement echoed from the Elder Razias. They expected denial or appeasement. Instead, the lead human representative smiled, a small controlled expression, and said they were happy to explain, but warned the council that the explanation might be uncomfortable. Several delegates scoffed. Humans were young, barely spacefaring for a few centuries. They had no right to challenge powers that had ruled for millennia. The Arbiter demanded they proceed. The human activated a hologram. Star maps unfolded across the chamber, but these were not current maps. They showed projected movement, economic stress lines, population growth curves, conflict probability zones. The council leaned forward despite themselves. The human calmly explained that humanity had modeled galactic behavior for generations, studying the rise and fall of empires, trade collapses, war cycles, extinction events. They did this before they even left their home system. A ripple of unease spread. The projections shifted, highlighting the council worlds themselves, showing timelines where resource hoarding and political stagnation led to inevitable collapse. Each elder race saw its own future burning quietly in statistical certainty. The Arbiter interrupted angrily, accusing the humans of fabrication. The human merely nodded and said the models were old, refined continuously, and that recent council actions had confirmed the worst projections. A silence followed, heavy and unfamiliar. Then the human said the words that changed everything. Humanity had not begun preparing for war recently. They had been preparing for this moment since before first contact. Outraged erupted across the chamber. Accusations flew. Threats were issued. Several species demanded immediate sanctions. Others whispered among themselves. Fear crept through even the loudest voices. Because the projections felt accurate in a way no propaganda ever did, the human delegation waited patiently, letting the storm pass. They understood political theater. Well, it was one of the first things they had mastered as a divided species. When the noise subsided, the human representative spoke again, explaining that humanity had learned early that intelligence alone was not enough. Foresight was survival. On their own world they had faced climate collapse, nuclear extinction, pandemics, and internal wars. They survived not because they were peaceful, but because some of them planned far ahead. The hologram shifted again, showing human history, overlapping crises and contingency plans layered on top of each other. Redundancies within redundancies, fallback upon fallback. A delegate from the Aurelian Combine asked why such preparation was necessary now. Humanity had allies, trade partners, a seat at the council. The human replied that alliances changed. Power frightened those who held it longest, and the council itself was designed to preserve dominance, not balance. Several elder species bristled, but none could refute it outright. The human then revealed intercepted council communications, not stolen illegally, but predicted conversations. That had not yet happened but statistically would. Proposals to restrict human expansion, embargo technology, limit population growth. The Arbiter demanded to know how they could possibly predict private decisions. The answer was chillingly simple. Humans understood fear. They had been both its victims and its architects. They knew exactly how an aging power reacted to a rising one. The projection showed a branching timeline, one where the council acted aggressively, leading to war, another where it acted subtly, leading to economic strangulation. Both ended the same way, catastrophic conflict. The humans stated calmly that humanity had no desire to rule the galaxy, but they refused to be cornered. Extinction was not an acceptable outcome. A younger species delegate asked quietly what humanity intended to do. The human looked directly at the council seal floating above them and said, "Ensure survival, at any cost necessary." preferably without firing a shot. The phrase lingered, ominous and final. Asterisk. The council demanded proof, so the humans provided it. The hologram expanded beyond known space, revealing installations no one had detected. Not because they were hidden poorly, but because no one had thought to look there. Human infrastructure extended into dark matter shadow zones, gravitational dead regions, and interstellar voids considered useless by other species. Places humans had colonized precisely because no one cared. Automated factories drifted silently, capable of producing fleets without crew, supply chains that did not rely on contested trade routes, energy collectors that fed on stellar waste. The council delegates stared in disbelief. These were not weapons pointed outward. They were systems designed to endure isolation, siege, and collapse. The human explained that every human colony was self-sufficient by law. Every fleet could operate independently. Every AI system had ethical constraints but strategic autonomy. An elder general asked how long humanity could sustain a full-scale galactic war, expecting bravado. The answer was given without pride, indefinitely. Gasps rippled through the chamber. The human clarified. Not because they were stronger individually, but because they had planned to lose everything and keep going. Humanity assumed their worst-case scenario as a baseline. The hologram showed a final layer: human evacuation protocols, seed arcs, data vaults, genetic libraries, all prepared centuries ago, updated constantly, ready to launch at the first confirmed extinction trajectory. The council realized then that humanity was not preparing to conquer. They were preparing to outlast. A realization far more terrifying. The human stated that none of this was secret. It had simply been ignored, buried in data dumps, dismissed as inefficiency. The council had underestimated humanity because they did not understand paranoia forged by near extinction. Silence gripped the chamber again, deeper than before. Asterisk debate erupted behind closed channels. Alliances strained. Some species argued for immediate reconciliation, others demanded preemptive strikes. But fear eroded unity. No one wanted to provoke a species that had already accepted the possibility of total loss. The arbiter asked the humans what they wanted: tribute, territory, power. The humans shook their head and replied simply: transparency and autonomy. No secret restrictions. No silent encirclement. No manipulation through dependency. They wanted the galaxy to grow together, or not at all. A radical idea for a body built on controlled imbalance. Some younger species supported the humans openly, seeing in them a shield against ancient dominance. The elder races realized too late that their authority was no longer absolute. The human concluded by stating that if the council chose cooperation, humanity would share its models, its infrastructure concepts, its survival philosophy. If not, humanity would withdraw from dependency and endure alone. There was no threat in the words, which made them far more dangerous. Asterisk. The council recessed for the longest deliberation in its history. When it reconvened, the tone had changed. Arrogance replaced by caution. New accords were signed. Restrictions lifted. Transparency enforced. Humanity did not celebrate. They simply adjusted their projections. Across the galaxy, whispers spread, not of human aggression, but of human inevitability. The council had believed itself the planner of fate, the architect of balance, but had learned a humbling truth. Humans had already planned for the council itself, and that realization would shape the galaxy forever.